All right, everyone. I think we're going to go ahead and get started. We might have one person who will join us. Not everybody from the network. Let me make sure that everybody can see me. Make this as much as like our network meetings as possible. So I'm just going to use the webcam to say hi to everybody really quick. I think it's going to slow down the internet, so I'm not going to keep it up for very long. But I wanted to make sure that you knew that you, in fact, were talking to a human. So that's me. If this works very well, I just want to let you know I talked to Nora Robinson, and she's considering changing all of the network meetings from in-person to actual webinars. I'm sure she's cringing as I say that. That's not a true statement. What we'll do today is we're going to have Veronica and Alexander from FirstBook give a quick overview of FirstBook and all the great things that they do and the different ways in which we can work for them and the resources that are available through them. I want everyone to get a good sense of what that is, because after today what we'll do is we'll ask everybody to fill out a very, very short, this is not your annual grant proposal, a very short proposal detailing the needs that you have in terms of book resource and how you plan to spend that, with just a couple of questions on how this aligns with all the work that we've been doing as a network. But before we ask you to do that, I wanted to make sure that you had a good sense of what FirstBook provides so you can come up with the most useful grant. We'll leave some questions towards the end. Just know that this is not a comparative grant. We're not using this to. We just want to make sure that we meet the needs very specifically within the allotted amount that we have through FirstBook, but from General Mills. So what we'll do is I'll hand it over to Veronica, and she will introduce herself and do a quick presentation. If you have specific questions, put them in the chat box, and then she will be able to see them, and I will be watching out for them as well to make sure that they get answered. And then at the end of the video, or at the end of the presentation, we'll do questions over the phone. If you're on the phone, just make sure that you are muted until you get to ask the question, just so we don't get any feedback or hear any crunching from any potato chips you may be eating, anything else. So thank you, everyone, and I'm going to hand it over to Veronica now.
Hi, Victor. Victor, do you see the adorable kids again? And start the presentation.
I do see them.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So again, Victor, thank you for bringing us all together and allowing us the opportunity to share FirstBook more comprehensively with your network in Minnesota. FirstBook is a nonprofit social enterprise that we do serve adorable kids, but we could never serve adorable kids without the power and strength of from the people on the phone today. The work you do actually touches the lives more closely, and what we would like to do is be rocket fuel for your great jet engines. Of course, we all know that the need associated on so many levels with kids from low-income backgrounds and low-resource communities. Students with below grade level reading skills are twice as likely to drop out of school, and for the lowest income communities, there's one book for every 300 kids. Among adults at the lowest level of literacy proficiency, 43% live in poverty. These are the data and statistics that each of you work with every day, and that's why I think we're motivated to come to work and to know that the power of collaboration, as we're showing today with General Mills funding, allows us to do even more. So as I said, FirstBook is a nonprofit social enterprise that provides new books and educational resources to kids particularly kids in need, but more particularly we provide them to providers, educators, program leaders like yourselves who really know what kids and families need in communities. We believe that every community, every classroom, and every child should have access to a world of knowledge, and we live every day here at FirstBook to remove critical barriers for you that you can have easier and better access to high-quality, brand-new books that are age-appropriate for the kids and families you serve. For folks who are familiar with the Read Aloud initiative, we clearly but we've really kept a pulse on understanding the need for books, and what we've understood from our network and what research shows is that price is the #1 barrier to book ownership. And in America, with the average cost of a high-quality board book being anywhere from $12 to $18, we know, and those on the call know, our families sometimes are choosing between rent and food, and books are not even a part of that formula. So it's imperative that we build collaborative impact to help families have books, and that books don't become a choice, but an understood necessity. We know that book ownership matters. To date, we've distributed over 130 million brand new books to kids in need, and we've distributed those books to a network of over 180,000 individuals, including programs in Minnesota, all in every state in the country, and to programs like Title I schools, Title I eligible schools, literacy programs, clinics, health departments, departments of social services, any group, faith group, community group serving at least 70% or more of kids in need. How we work: schools and organizations like yours will sign up with FirstBook. We secure high-quality educational products through our relationships with over 90 publishers across North America. That allows us to have books in English, Spanish, and French. We get books and resources where they're needed most. So with Victor bringing us together today, we will now be working with Gen Next's network of programs and groups because we know that you know that's where kids in need are. You know how to get books and resources to kids most directly. That's why we ask you to sign up and join our community. And then we help kids build the skills they need to succeed. Again, by us supporting your leadership, your reach, your programming, we know that together we'll help kids build the skills they need to succeed. Who can sign up with FirstBook? Of course, all the programs on the phone today, including shelters and clinics, libraries and museums, programs serving a majority of military families, early childhood programs, Title I eligible schools, even schools and Title I eligible, but schools who can use free and reduced lunch data and other data to help support or show that they're serving at least 70% or more of kids in need. Of course, out-of-school programs like Boys and Girls Clubs, reading programs, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts, who again are located in or serving at least 70% of their members, or have from a low resource background, and our faith organizations as well. The way that FirstBook distributes those 130 million books is through two enterprises. One is the FirstBook Marketplace, which is an online resource. It's an online bookstore with over 100 brand new, many award-winning titles, and the average cost of a book on the marketplace is $2.85. The second way that we distribute books, and actually additional inventory, is through FirstBook National Book Bank. All the inventory is brand new. The inventory is carton quantity. The process is an online application process, and if you are in the community where the books are being distributed, the books are absolutely free. You go through the application process, and if we have enough inventory to fill your application, we invite you to come to the warehouse and pick up your inventory for free. However, if the distribution is in St. Louis and you're in Minneapolis and the drive is prohibitive, it's actually more affordable to receive the free books and just pay the shipping and handling. So the enterprise, the books are always free, but sometimes if you can't make it to the distribution, we do ask you to help us cover the shipping and handling, which is usually about 55 to 75 cents per book. Just also a little deeper into those two enterprises, the FirstBook National Book Bank, we receive donations. We alert the network. Another reason why it's so important that you sign up and join the FirstBook community. And please know, joining the community is always free. We do not sell our mailing list. We do not advertise to you on any of our online presence. We share the opportunity with our network. When the network member wants to respond, you'll do so with an application. We match the application with the available inventory, and then the books are delivered, and when you receive a notice that your application's been approved, we invite you to come to the spot and, again, pick your books up absolutely free. These are pictures of a FirstBook National Book Bank. Some people just can't quite. Also in the top left corner, literally that's a huge warehouse. The books, again, are carton quantity. We sort the books by title on a pallet, and then you, in your application, you let us know which books you want. So we will have a pallet with your name on it. So Victor, if we have a book bank distribution in your area, we'll have a pallet with your name on it full of the books that you've submitted via your application to come pick up. Victor, when you drive up and you hand your application, your approved form to one of the FirstBook staff members, we go in the warehouse and we find the pallet with your name on it. One of our employees or volunteers will take the pallet jack and move your pallet to the back of your vehicle, and then our great team of volunteers will help load your vehicle. May that vehicle be a van, an SUV, a school bus, or even a U-Haul truck. We like to ship the book bank books in large quantities, so if somebody's literally doing a book distribution in their community, you can raise your hand for 10,000 books. The FirstBook Marketplace, I also want to share with you in kind of a picture graph kind of way how that works. We literally have over 5,500 new, many award-winning titles for ages 0 to 18 in the marketplace. FirstBook buys the books directly from publishers. We, again, because we serve millions of kids in need, we're able to get great books at low rate and share that with our network. We invite the members of our network to purchase literally from one book to thousands of books at a time. Unlike the book bank, where you have to receive the books in carton quantity at the book bank, on the marketplace, you literally can choose a single title, maybe 30 for a classroom, or 300 for a community event. And if you ever want to do a special order of thousands of books at a time, we'll work with you one-on-one to place a special order. And when your order is over 1,000 of the same title, we can go to the publisher and at least ask if we can get the price reduced even more. And when you look at 5,000 or more of the same title, we can also look at possibly driving the cost down further. And in cases where your program may want to use a book, or you might have a corporate partner who wants to use a book for a special branding opportunity, we also do special runs, print runs. It has to be at least 1,000 or more books, and your corporate partner or even your organization can put a special message inside the front cover of the book. And then, of course, after you go to the marketplace and you close out your purchase, we ship your delivery, and any orders $75 or more, shipping is included. That's a $7.50 savings. Here's what the marketplace looks like. So if you go to fbmarketplace.org, you'll see the marketplace, where again there's many, many titles, ages 0 to 18, and it's networking content. And what that means is and again, so why we're inviting you to join the network, when your voice is in the FirstBook network, that allows you an opportunity to tell us what you need, what you're looking for. And if we don't carry it, you will always, within the marketplace, there's always a survey section. You can just today look for this particular book. I don't see it. All that feedback, what content we're buying, and it may not be a specific title. It may be a subject area or theme area. It's really been on our radar that lately healthy eating, healthy living titles are in big demand. Character development titles are in big demand. Girls and STEM engagement. And then all other areas like educators will ask us, how do we use books for parent engagement? So we track all those requests and begin finding partners who can help us answer those questions and help us working with publishers to fill the topic and title needs. I hope many of you have seen this. While it's very beautiful and eye-catching, the information is that the lack of diversity in children's books as recent as 2012, you will see this research found that less than 7% of all children's books were about diverse cultures and races. And the numbers speak for themselves. So African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, and Asian Pacific Islanders really don't have an opportunity to see themselves when they pick up books to read. And we know what the research says, that when kids see literature, they're more likely to engage in reading. So what we did, again, through that, what we call feedback loop, where people give us thoughts and requests about books and titles and subject areas, we learned that more and more educators were asking for books with different backgrounds. So we created, in response to the lack of diversity in children's literature, we created the Stories for All project. The titles on the left are just a few of the over hundreds of titles that we carry on the marketplace, where many cultures, races, family styles, geographic locations can see themselves, where not that long ago these books were not available. On the marketplace, we also, particularly when we have our network share with us their needs, as I mentioned earlier, family engagement, we go to experts in those fields to help us secure resources, and many times we want those resources to be free. So on the FirstBook Marketplace, you can find tip sheets that are sometimes title specific. So an educator can go on the marketplace, and if you say, oh, I already own that book, but man, I sure would like to use that tip sheet, you can access the tip sheet absolutely free. The same thing with our Build Strong Families collection. You'll see the collection of books, and along with that, you'll see tips for family engagement and other activities. And as well as our partnership with Kaboom, we promote a number of free and engaging resources around active play. When you're thinking about ways to use books, and I know that Victor's invited you to submit a very brief proposal on how you would use books, we wanted to include some ideas of ways that other partners and other programs are using books. Everything from host family reading nights, to read parties, equipping home visitors with books, using books as incentives for parents to attend events. You could actually say, over the course of the school year, if a parent or caregiver engages in all the family meetings, by the end of the school year, a third grader would have a home library, seven-book home library, or however many meetings you have. So you can kind of make it a bit of a challenge and a goal for families to attain the whole library. Instead of a family reading corner, if you're a clinic or an after-school program or a community center, establish family reading challenges or book club night, hold reading workshops for parents, incorporate into your professional development activities, and of course we're always looking to make book-rich and word-rich home environments to building home libraries. Of course, you might think, oh my gosh, I don't want to sign up for yet another program. I get enough emails as it is. I can't read through everything. But let me just share with you some of the benefits of signing up with FirstBook. As I said before, it's free. We do not sell our mailing list. And you know, we are very mindful of all that email you have coming at you. So we really limit the number of emails that we send you. Once you join, we do have a 9-email nurturing campaign that over the immediate couple of weeks after signing up, you will get 9 emails over time explaining our enterprise and sharing more of this information in a way to help you understand the engagement with FirstBook. But then we limit our emails. But being in the FirstBook community allows you access to high-quality books, curated titles at very low cost. Once you're in the network, the way Victor has invited you to this process is because General Mills saw the value in Gen Next working with FirstBook. So you have to be in our network to benefit from those funds. You're surprised how many times throughout the year we get funds that our funder has a specific geography or a specific age group or thematic area that they want to invest in. But if someone's not in our network, we cannot extend those funds to them. So it allows you to be, if you would, in the pool for corporate funds and other donated dollars that come our way. And by being in the network, as I said before, it allows direct influence on the books and resources for study. We know that books are a great way to build partnerships, and if we keep the kid at the center and think about the child and who interacts with the child, and everything from engaging families, committed educators, community support, then we think about corporate and philanthropic funding. We have partnerships at all those levels, and again, the value of being in the network is when the corporate and philanthropic funding comes and they want to tie that with community support, we need to reach out to committed educators. That educators would then engage families and be that source to getting books to kids. These are some ways to think about completing your one-pager for Victor. Is how could the support that you have an opportunity to gain address some of the needs you have or allow you to build some programming that you've always wanted to but we just didn't have the funding for. And then, of course, partnering with FirstBook has great benefits. Working with FirstBook, you can connect every eligible program and educator with ongoing access to high-quality books and resources. So as a member of Gen Next, you'll be invited to join the FirstBook network, but we also invite you to invite your individual network to also join with FirstBook. Again, adding power to our network and allowing folks direct and immediate access to our resources. And by doing that, we can amplify the voices of your programs, educators, so they can have a direct influence on type of resources available to them. Here is a snapshot of our nonprofit partnerships and a snapshot of some of our corporate sponsors. And once you join the network, and you see the URL there, we invite you to think with FirstBook resources to what you're already doing, and you'll have a chance to share that with Victor in the one page. And then we want to hear from you. And I'm going to wrap up with this last slide. As we know, the more you read, the more things you will know, the more you learn, the more places you will go. And we all have an opportunity to share that with the kids that we serve. Victor, that's the end of my presentation. Do I need to do anything?
Thanks. You can. I think that's a great slide to just leave up. You can leave that there for us to ponder. If anybody has any questions, what we like to do is just put them in the chat. I'll let you know that it's your turn to speak, and then you can unmute yourself. I'm going to make sure what I'm about to do is I'm going to unmute everyone, but if you could individually mute yourselves at that point, that'd be great on your own phones, so you can ask your questions. Anybody got any questions? Nora wants to know if the books are leveled.
Oh, yeah. So we do use the Metametrics Lexile score. So we do put the Lexile scale, the Lexile measure, with each book, and that is currently our only leveler right now. You can look books up by age or grade. I think it's age. You can look books up by age, and then each book does have a Lexile measure with it.
All right, well, I'll talk a little bit about the next steps. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, go ahead and write them down. First of all, Veronica, thank you so much for the overview. I couldn't have done it. I wanted to make sure that people heard directly from you, even if they couldn't be in person. What we want to do, now that you have a sense of what's possible, we'll send you all an email. We'll ask you to fill out a very short one-pager to just describe what your book needs are, and then how you plan to use that and how it aligns with the work we've been doing at Generation Next. And just a simple question regarding equity. As we all know, all of our work is connected to equity here at Generation Next. I want you to feel free to request whatever you think it is that you need in terms of numbers of books, and we'll assess the needs of each program separately. And we want to do that to make sure that we adequately get to everybody's needs. But we also want to make sure that after we do that, if we have enough resources to do maybe a community-wide effort, that we can consider that as well. But as I explained in the email prior, everybody in this network has been a really great participant. You have all put so much time with us at Generation Next from over a year ago, and now working with the tutoring partnership. And so we unfortunately can't pay you all for those hours, but we want to make sure that if we can alleviate any resource need that you have, that we do that, because we know that everybody could use a little more. All right, more question on the proposal. And it will be July 1st. So that's enough time that you don't have to scramble for your needs right now. But I am going to be reviewing them over the 4th of July weekend. So I want to make sure that we have them before then. That way we can get everything rolling and set up for a rollout in the fall. Any other questions? All right, well, not everyone who's part of the network was able to attend today. This will be recorded, and so we'll make sure that there is a link available to it. If you want to show any supervisor, if you want to go back to any details, we'll send you the link to the webinar, but we'll also send the PowerPoint for any questions, and included in that will be the one-pager that will need to be filled out. Like I said, it'll be very simple. So thank you, everyone, for joining. We're going to let you go a little early, and if you have any questions, as always, don't hesitate to email me at victor@genmsp.org.